Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Emily Hiles, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Private Gemma Blanthorne. This evening, we warmly welcome the family of Trooper Reginald Williams, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family, visitors to the memorial, and students on behalf of St Stephen's School, Carrama Campus, Tapping, Western Australia. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is but by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved. And here, we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, flowers of the forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Trooper Reginald Williams. Reginald Williams was born on the 15th of August 1888 to Thomas and Sophia Williams of South Australia. The family moved to Mount Gambier, where Reginald attended school, while his father was instrumental in diagnosing tuberculosis in cattle. Around the time Reginald finished school, the southeast of South Australia suffered an outbreak of swine fever. Reginald went to work as an inspector of stock under his father. Once the outbreak was under control, he changed careers and went to work for Messrs. James Martin & Co., an engineering company based north of Adelaide. Reginald later travelled to India, serving on cargo boats as an assistant engineer. During this time, he frequented trade routes between Brisbane, England, China, Hong Kong, and Japan. Eventually, he returned to Australia, settling in Horsham, Victoria, where he joined the Light Horse. He was described as being as active as a boy and was genial, lovable, and light-hearted. As a soldier, it was reported that he was one of the finest type, possessed an indomitable pluck and intensely eager spirit. Reginald Williams enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force within weeks of the outbreak of war in August 1914. After a short period of training in Australia, Trooper Williams left for active service overseas with the 1st Contingent on the 19th of October 1914. He first travelled to Egypt, where he continued training in the desert, later watching the infantry depart for Gallipoli. After the dawn landing on the 25th of April 1915, the situation on Gallipoli remained unstable, with the Anzac perimeter insecure. To reinforce the infantry, the men of the Light Horse were sent to the peninsula without their horses. The 4th Light Horse Regiment began landing on Anzac on the 22nd of May, and over the following days was scattered piecemeal among depleted infantry battalions. By the 11th of June, the 4th Light Horse has regrouped, settling into a period of defending the front line, usually in the area around Ryries Post. Williams served as a member of the regiment's machine gun section, and in early August, a new offensive was launched in the hope of breaking the deadlock. The 4th Light Horse played a peripheral role in the offensive, being active in the front line and conducting feites. On the 3rd of August 1915, Trooper Reginald Williams was killed in action. No record remains of the exact manner of his death, likely the result of sniper or artillery fire. His obituary in the Adelaide Journal says that nothing came amiss to him, and the probabilities are that he met his noble death with the cheerfulness which had always distinguished him. Trooper Reginald Williams was buried in the cemetery at Lone Pine, where his grave lies today, bearing the words, "How can a man die better than facing fearful odds?" He died less than 2 weeks before his 27th birthday. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Trooper Reginald Williams, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope for a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.